Hello and welcome back once again to Outside Inside Outside Racing. I am Ian and I am struggling with getting things done. This is my 1987 Corolla FX16. Her name is Deborah. We call it the FX, the rxfx. It has many names, but lately its name has been Statue of AE82 because it doesn't move. A few months ago, the car went up on the quick jacks in order to receive some max speeding rods coilovers. I pulled off the suspension. I got to looking at the coilovers and they were going to take some modification to put on. They were from an AE92 Corolla. This is of course an AE82 Corolla. I knew I was in for some modification to begin with, and the fine folks at Max Speeding Rods provided those coilovers for me to try and do just that. But as time went on, I thought, you know, I'm not going to get around to this if I have to modify this stuff. I really just need to put the suspension back together, but better than what it was before. And what it was previously was just some threaded coilover bodies sitting on the stock perches with some very short springs, 250 inch-pound in the front and 175 inch-pound in the rear. The car had become very bouncy at rallycross events and even at autocross in the front end, probably due to the fact that the struts were completely blown, but it could also be that it didn't have enough strut to begin with, and it may still not when I put it all back together. My plan is to eventually size out proper Bilstein inserts for the front and rear that will give me more dampening and therefore keep the bouncing to a minimum. For now, I'm just going back in with OEM style KYB inserts and sealed rears from Monroe, just street level stuff that I'm going to blow anyway if I take this car back out to rallycross, but I don't think I'm going to anymore. I think this car is destined to live a much more cushy life as an autocross and street car. My boys love this car and I do too, and it hasn't run in far too long. So the plan for this weekend and week after is to get the stock-ish suspension put back together, but swap those springs so we get a 175 in the front and a 250 in the rear. And that'll help us with rotation a little bit on sticky tires. Along the way, I've replaced some other components, obviously the strut inserts and some progressive bump stops, and also the rear control arm bushings have been replaced. Just some things that I thought were worn out. They were Super Pro bushings, polyurethane. They shouldn't have been worn out, but we were getting some movement back there. So I just went back in with new Super Pro bushings. All this stuff's got to go back together. I got to put it down on the ground. I got to get it aligned with my gyraline so we feel at least comfortable with the alignment that's on it. And then it's got to get the hell out of here because Dale, the 72 Celica, has to come in so we can get him ready for the season as well. Do some adjustments that need to be made on the car. And I want to do it here at the house versus at the shop. And then this car can roll over to the shop. It'll probably live outside for now while we push the MR2 into the shop and start tearing the engine out a bit so we can do a rebuild. We only have a few months to get that done, to rebuild that motor and get it back in the car and get it ready for the 2025 Rallycross season. So we got a lot of work to do, and it all starts with getting this thing out of the garage. So let's get to it. What are you doing? Just standing around over here. Like, turn off the heater. No, turn up the heater. It's damn cold out here. To get those tires out of the way. This ping pong table's got to go. There's too many wheels and tires sitting around over here. We got to get some stuff out of here. Let's see if we can't make a plan of attack to get this thing moving here. My fronts are entirely assembled and ready to go back in the car. I have one rear assembled. Where is it? Is this it? The only way to know if it's the good one is to push it down and see if it comes back up again. Just barely. Just barely. So that's the good one. Then I had one bad sealed unit strut that I got from Rock Auto, and they've sent me a new one. I hope this one is not bad. Let's check it out. I rip this open. One OE Spectrum Reflex, and one box I don't want. Okay, please work. It'd be a real bummer if this one was also not good. Well, it's upside down. Those so-and-sos, I curse their name. It's just a booger. It's just a real booger. Why don't I just destroy this whole box? I'm getting angry. Okay. One sealed unit rear strut. Now, the moment of truth. Does she pop up when I let the guard off? Hey, look at that. Things are growing, showing. Man, I'd like to put my hand upon that fucking sexy ass and squeeze. And squeeze. Everybody says I look like Jack Black. Might as well sing like him too, right? I can't. Well, that seems to work. Why don't we take some stuff from behind you and put it on this and call it good. Change my shot. Oh my God. Hit me right in the face. Is it bleeding? Could you do something useful for a change and tell me if this is bleeding? I can't see it. It seems like I have the same problem up front then that I don't know which one is which. I think these might actually be marked. Let me take a look. These are original Toyota units. So there's probably an R and an L on them somewhere. Oh boy. Couldn't find it if I wanted to nowadays. This is where a paint pen comes in handy. It would take just a second to mark it up with a paint pen, and then I'd have it, but I don't have it. Here's what I believe I'm about to do. The knuckle hanging here is going to receive a strut. It's going to go up through there. I like to hang them from the top first and then put it back on the knuckle. Here's the problem with this left front side. I'm starting with the problem child. The problem lies right here. So the bottom bolt just gets a regular bolt. The top bolt also gets a regular bolt, but it's smaller, and it normally has a camber adjuster. And let me show you what that looks like. All right, if we consult the stool full of parts, a camber adjuster looks like this. A factory Toyota camber adjuster. You can see it has a concentric circle, and this lets you turn it around in the knuckle and get different camber. And they work great until they don't. And this one rusted and sheared off. So what I think I'm going to do is consult my bin full of camber adjusters, which they might all be the exact same size. Maybe I have two different sizes. And I'm going to see if I can use a non-factory camber adjuster bolt, which looks like this, and try to make that work in the slot. You can see it's got the same concentric idea here. I hope you can see that. But it works, differently. I don't think these are going to be big enough. Just, in fact, I pretty much know that. But let me do some thinking and looking and see, how this peg could work in this hole. Okay, I think I figured out what I'm going to do. This is the bolt that normally goes in there. And I'm just going to put the bolt in, and then I'm going to tip it all the way in. So I get the most negative camber I can possibly get, and then I'm going to tighten it down. And that's not what you want. That's not the sturdiest, most awesomest thing for this, but that's what I got for right now until I can get some new camber adjusters, which I'm talking to some folks about that. And they're not new, they'll be very old, but they'll be better than the ones that I got that are broken. So that's what we're going to do for now. I'm going to put the strut upright back up in the hole where the light is right there, hang it down to here, attach it to the knuckle, get all of the brake hardware back on, and then we'll be in business on this side, move on to the other side. Okay, I got the strut in, I got the bolts in. I also put in the camber adjuster just to take up space front to back so we don't have dynamic caster while we're driving. We don't really want that. I don't think it would, but might as well. I got it. It's doing nothing, but what we have to do to get all of the camber out of this is we got to push this top in like that. So now while I'm pushing it, I have to hold the bolt and get the impact on it. And there we go. Maximum negative camber. Max camber. Private eye. All right, let me put the brake caliper back on, and then we'll be done with this side. You know what? You know what I'm doing. I'm putting on a caliper, so why don't I just come back when it's done? Cinch up these top hat bolts, and then I'll be done with this one. One important thing to note about the FX16, the factory top hat can be put on one of two ways. If you put it so the circle is more towards the front of the oval that's in the strut tower, then you will get less positive caster, right? And if you put it towards the back, then that's more positive caster, and you want more positive caster for better turn-in and handling. Is it positive or negative? I don't know. Whichever one's better for handling, you get it when you put the thing to the back. That's how it works. So do that on both sides. Don't mix and match them, unless you've been in an accident and you have to get the alignment right. But if you've never been in an accident, your car's straight and whatnot, then you want both of these back to get as much caster as you can possibly get. Really does affect the turn-in a great way. And so now this side that, over here is complete. And I'm going to move on to that side and put it together the right way, because that camber adjuster is not broken. So we'll be able to assemble it properly, get it all put together, and the front will be done, and we can move on to the back of the car. Okay, y'all, even if it's not true, I'm ready to call the front done, because I'm sick of it, thoroughly sick of it. So I think it's true. I think some camber adjustment, obviously is going to be needed, and it's not going to be easy. There's really none over here except for pushing it in. The other side, the camber adjuster, I think is the one that was originally for this side, and it's in the wrong position. The mark doesn't match up, so I think I've got it set at full negative, whatever. I'm about to move on to right down here. So if we take a look, can you come on down a little closer? This is my face down here. Let me get it right next to the... if you take a look, brakes hanging. There's no control arms on it at the moment. And that's because they are over here on the bench after having received new polyurethane bushings. And I'll show you the process of. Maybe I edited that in already at the beginning of this. I don't know. But if not, then here's some footage now of me putting in the polyurethane bushings, knocking the old ones out, putting the new ones in, knocking/sawing the old ones out, putting the new ones in. Now, here's a real good question. Which side is which?
I see you.
And this will be pretty self-explanatory. The knuckles for the cars are still on the right side, so whichever one has the big bushing, and the sway bar only sits in a certain spot. So this will be, we'll figure this out. Down here, keep going. That's our knuckle for this side. If we look at the back side of it, one of these bushings in the knuckle is big, and the other one is not so big. The control arm that has the sway bar end links goes on the... Well, there's the sway bar right there. I mean, it's going to be pretty obvious. Let's get down there and do it. There's two control arms, forward and rear. Looks like the forward one has the bigger bushing in it. So the forward one is also going to be the one that gets the sway bar. Okay, I'm going to start sticking stuff up there. Son of a bitch. So crisp and refreshing. Who says a small-time YouTuber can't get a Diet Dr. Pepper sponsorship? Me, I do. I say that. I wish, though. Come on, DDP. I drink enough of this stuff. I keep you in business. How about you show me a little love? Okay, everything is done but the brakes on this side. Now it's time to move on to the other side. I may not even have you watch that one. Yeah, I guess we'll go from this to this. And I did it. It feels like something's bent on this side. Maybe, I don't know. The strut did not go in as easy as it did on the other side. So we'll find out when we do the alignment. It might be a little goofy, but it's done. Now I just got to get brake pads for the other side. All right. It's 2 days later. 3 days? 3 days, maybe. But I have received the brake pads, and they seem to fit. They're about the right shape and size, etc., to put over here on the old, rotor. Let's go ahead and put some brake pads on, and maybe we can put this thing on the ground. Also, I didn't know how to use my new camera the last time that we spoke. So I'm going to leave it on auto now and not try to be fancy. So there'll be a whole lot less out of focus stuff this time around. Let's go. So there's quite literally nothing to talk about here. I'm going to put new brake pads on. It's that thing that you're supposed to do every 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 1,000 miles, depending on how hard you are on your brakes. So these ones were crooked that are on there. So we're going to put them back on so they aren't crooked. And then we'll do this side, and we'll do the other side, and then we'll be done. And then maybe we'll put the car on the ground. That'd be fun. Oh, we'll put wheels on it first, though. That's probably important. Okay, brakes are done. If you're wondering, they are PowerStop Evolution Z16 ceramic brake pads, part number 16325. Can you see that? 16325. Ordered them on Amazon. They came in 2 days. They might have cost $40. I don't know. So now I'm going to do a nut and bolt because I'm sloppy and I probably left everything loose. And once I've confirmed that everything is tight, I will put the wheels on and we will finally lower this sucker to the ground. I barely even started, and look at this. The very thing that I said I was going to find. Right down here. See that? That's the camber adjuster bolt, completely loose. I bet I thought when I did that, oh, I'm going to need to adjust the camber anyway. I probably didn't. I probably just left it loose. So I'm going to tighten that and every other nut and bolt, and then we'll get some wheels on. As expected, it was a very good thing that I checked the tightness of things to the nut and bolt because I didn't have a lot of it tight. That's what I do. But I go back and I check myself because otherwise I will wreck myself 100%. Now, we'll put these Miata wheels on the car and then we'll, bring her on down. What I like about putting wheels on this car is that I have extended studs on. They're real long. So I've got spacers front and rear. Up front, it's just like a 5 mil. In the back, it's like a 15 or 20 mil. I can't really remember. But the spacers don't need studs in them. They're just a spacer, and because the stud's super long, it's something I always mean to do to all of my race cars, and I never do because I'm lazy. The only thing left to do, well, here I am trying to be dramatic about it, and I got shit in the way everywhere. Only thing left to do is bring her down. Hadn't been on the ground in months. What's it coming down on top of? I have no idea. Okay. That's it, on the ground. How's it look? I mean, technically it's no lower than it was before. Oh, it's not down. What's happening? There they come. There it is, back on the ground, back on terra firma. Gotta spread out some of these folding tables here. Where's a pro wrestler when you need him?
You want me to take care of some of them folding tables, brother? Oh yeah, brother.
I was about to put the quick jacks completely away, and then I thought I'd better leave it in this cumbersome and dangerous pile and tangle, because, you never know. This might have to go back up in the air, but for right now, where we're headed is right here to the battery, where we will have to jump it because it's definitely dead because I left it plugged in for some reason. And how do we charge a dead battery? That's right, it's the NOCO Boost Plus. NOCO's not a sponsor, but boy, they should be. I've used this thing a bunch of times to fix my own stupidity. So let's give it a jump, shall we? There's little to no chance that this thing starts up. Yep. Turning the key gets us nothing. She dead. We might have to trickleate the juice into the battery overnight. Let's just get the NOCO off of here. NOCO, you do me good most of the time, but this time it's my fault. I've gone beyond your abilities. So we're going to break out the big boy. The DeWalt. We'll let it give it a hot boil for a second here, and then we'll see if we can't get it started. You look good, by the way. You're looking tall. How much battery do I have left? Oh, God. Come on. You got more battery right now than the car has. Well, way to go. Okay, there's the beep, which says what? I don't know. I never looked at the manual for this thing, so. But let me try to start it. See if it starts. It's not gonna. Nope. I believe we may have let this one go. All I had to do is take a wrench and then, just lift that cable right off of there. And then we would have been fine, but I had to do that in May. And it is now the end of January. All right, it's reading a solid 2.0 volts. we're just gonna go ahead and put it on battery recondition. See, this is the thing that I needed the quick jacks and the car casters for, so I could just pick it up and slide it over, drop it down, and carry on about my work. You know what? I have two coasters. I have two car casters in here somewhere. So I could put two wheels on and scooch it over, and then two other wheels on, scooch it over, get it away from the wall enough to do my alignment? Maybe? Maybe. All right, bring her on over. Look at that, one finger even. Hot dog, okay, that's good. There you go, good boy. There she comes. All right. It's got wheels on it. See, those are wheels. They belong to a Miata, but you know what? They don't look bad on this thing. You really can't put a bad looking wheel on this car. I don't know what it is about it, but I put all sorts of wheels on this car. Maybe I'll show you some pictures here, and here, and here, and here. And even here. And no, maybe. All sorts of wheels, and it always ends up looking pretty good. Miata wheels fit pretty good, except they got a high offset, so you got to have the spacers to make sure that you don't rub on the struts. So, yeah, lots of tweaking that I've done to this car over the years to get it to the place to where I can just do stuff to it. So, like the whatever wheels, or because I have longer studs and I've got spacers and stuff like that. So, you know, set yourself up right to begin with, and you can play around. Hello, feller. What you doing?
Work on the car.
Working on the car. All right, here we are. Under the car. What we're doing is he's loosening up the two bolts that connect the strut to the knuckle, so we can adjust camber first, toe second. He's got this under control. That's Mr. ASE Light Certified right there. I'm not sure what you call it, but
It's entry level.
Entry level, ASE entry level certified. He's far more qualified to work on this than I am, that's for sure.
I wouldn't say that.
I would. There she goes. That's good. Okay, so now the pain in the butt part. We have to access that from the back. We have to turn the camber adjuster bolt and get it to lean in. Do you see it move? I swear it moved. Yeah, it started to come back out there. Yep. Yeah. We're gonna fire up gyraline here. Come over here and take a look at this. I haven't been able to get a good video of this. So fire up the gyraline app, and we're gonna hit restart on the camber settings. We're gonna put it in the little gyraline holder. And the way it works is we make sure that our cameras are up at the top here, and it's all in the holder the right way, and screw it all down so it's nice and tight. So we're looking at the rear left camber. So I have to turn the phone this way, then I have to put it down. I have to do it on the studs, which is silly, I know, but that's the way I have to do it, because I can't put it here where you're supposed to put it, because the bottom part's sitting on the studs, and you see what it says that camera angle is? It says it's negative 6.7, which is ridiculous. So I'm putting it on the studs and assuming that they are equal, and then I line it out like this, and this is even less. It's negative 0.7 right now. You get under there and turn it, and I'll watch it. That sounds good. I like that. We'll actually watch it change. This will be neat. Yeah, go for it. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, no, it's lowering. So we're losing camber right now. We're losing negative camber right now. If we end up with just one here, I'll be fine with that, as long as we can match it on the other side. Keep going. You're almost to -1. There it is. Stop right there. We're going to save that. So now our path should be to tighten up the top bolt and then tighten the bottom bolt. And then we'll have it kind of locked down. But I kind of wonder if we shouldn't set the camber on the other side first, roughly, before we tighten stuff down, and see if this one changes at all, because that can happen sometimes. Also, Hudson, you're not in the driver's seat. There we go. It might have come down a little bit. Let's see what this is. It says negative 0.8. So we gained a point of a degree. So hey, fine. Yeah. So we're going to shoot for that on the other side. Turn it one direction, I'll tell you what we get. You're definitely coming out, so go the other way.
Right.
I have loosened it. Which direction were you turning it?
I can't remember.
Okay, great. All right, spin her one way or the other if you can. There she goes. She's cambering, and I felt it. There she is. We're getting the angle right. And there she reads, it's a little low for you, but it reads 0.5. And that's where we're leaving it. Save, and it's saved at 0.7. Cool. It doesn't matter. We saw it at 0.5. I'm going to set it back up here. And come on. Nah, God dang it. It's so iffy. I think we have the most we can get, which is all we can ask for. So that's what we're going to have. Now we're going to tighten it up, and we'll move on to tow. Okay, this is our tow adjuster. Currently we're sitting at 0.3 positive tow, and we want negative 0.1. Somebody out there on the worldwide interweb is going to tell me that this is absolutely not the way you're supposed to do this. I've managed to get 0.1 on the gyraline, negative on both sides, so we've got 0.1 of tow out. The trick is tightening it up without messing it up. These adjusters are really touchy, so I'm just gonna send it with the impact, and it's probably gonna move, and then I'm gonna curse, and then we'll do it again. It's just gonna be wrong. There's no way it's right. It's not possible. Get the green dot in the middle, press the button. Oh! It's still 0.1. We did it. All right, look at how beautiful it is. You got negative 0.1 on both sides. Ignore the front because we haven't done the front at all, but we got negative 0.1 on both sides, total of negative 0.2. Somebody's going to tell me that's too much, and I'm going to drive it and find out. Well, I have the microphone on, so what you didn't hear was Hudden, soiling the seats. Now that I look at it, it is raked for sure. And we have this, I hate to say it, but we have adjustment on the rear. But if we adjust it, we screw up everything we've just done. Yeah. We screw up if we adjust the height, we screw up everything that we've done. So I think we're going to stick with the rake the way that it is at the current point in time. And we'll get that front aligned and we'll go for a drive. And we'll see how we like the rate of the springs in the rear. The height doesn't really matter as long as the rate feels good. And if the rate feels awesome, then we can always bring the rear down some and do the rear alignment again and blah 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 blah. One more time, here we go. Now we're moving on to the front toe. This fella over here got the tie rod loose for us so we can adjust that sucker, in and out, and dial back our toe. The toe on this side, for some reason, is negative 1.7, and on the driver's side is negative 0.2. On the passenger side, we're going to shoot for negative 0.2 as well, and that'll be good enough for us for now. And if we feel like turning isn't good enough, then we'll jack it to negative 0.5 or something later. But for now, none of these measurements are going to be right anyway, so why not make them match and not mess with the other side? Ah, okay, I just gave her the beans. She's tight. We're done because I don't want to do it anymore. Hello, is this on? All we have to do now is get a battery and make this thing go. But it's raining tonight, so probably not a good test of the alignment. It might be raining tomorrow night too. We could do it. If it's still raining tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. Here I go again on my own. Copyright infringement. Well, I've been to the Walmart and traded in the old battery at the $12 core charge and only paid a scant $150 for a new battery that might not fit. So they didn't have the 26R, and I bought the 35 because it came in the EverStart Max. And the Max has a 3-year warranty, just like it says right down there. Now, it's a little bit bigger than the old battery, like I say, but I think it's still going to fit. In comes our battery. Slightly taller, slightly wider, and fits a little cattywampus, but I'll be dogged if it ain't in there. Now, let's talk about the clearance. I think it's going to clear. Let me put a strap over it because I don't have the battery tied down at the moment. I'll put the strap on it. That's still attached. And this is now, this is probably not going to pass tech at any kind of event. We'll have to fix this before we go racing, but, will it hold it in there while we're just ripping around? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. So there's probably a billion better ways to do this, but I decided to just put grease on the edge of the battery here. And now we're going to shut the hood and see if we see the grease up here on the hood. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's hitting the battery. Ought to be in here. And there's no fresh grease in that area. So I don't think it's actually hitting. There ought to be fresh, smelly grease somewhere on there. I mean, look at how liberally I have applied it to the terminals and the edge there. Like, if that was going to show, it would show. I'm going to go ahead and clean up all the grease, get it hooked up, and we'll see if we can't turn the key and crank this sucker up. I think we're about ready to get in and turn a key. First start in 7 months of a 1987 Toyota Corolla FX16, almost 40 years old, twin cam, 1.6 liter power. Let's bring it back to life. Good sign. There she is. Check engine light was on, but it is now off. Probably oil pressure, I would imagine. The oil light wasn't on, though. That's interesting. Well, it's off now. Great. It smells a little like old gas. Ta-da! I'm gonna let it run here for a little bit. It's wet outside today, but I'm still gonna go drive it. I could at least back it out, I guess. The next important thing is, what am I running over? We chalked the wheels last night, didn't we? Yep. Oh, I love this car. Just getting back in the seat again makes me feel like, yeah, I'm doing something. This car and I have done a lot of racing together. Really kind of cut my teeth in rallycross on this car. I had a Fiesta ST that I rallycrossed before I owned this car. And it was good, but it was heavier than I wanted. I wish I had that turbo back sometimes, but, you know, this car has a lot of high-end, high-revving torque. And we put mud tires on the front with the diff that I have in it. And it's pretty magical. I mean, in the mud, in the loose stuff, on tight courses, I haven't found a scenario except for high-speed, dry courses that this car will fail me. But at high speeds, dry courses, I'm probably not going to be the fastest. And that's okay, as this thing was made to rock and roll locally in rallycross. But now we're going to try to do the same thing in autocross. Here we go! First drive in about 7 months. I don't think my seat is in the right position. I feel like it is. The tires all have 32 pounds of pressure in them. It's cold outside. It's going to be sliding. A lot of clanging and banging going on from the rear. What did I forget? What did I forget? Did I not tighten down a strut? I mean, every time I lift, I get in a clang and bang. Do I have brakes? I do have brakes. That's good. The car is driving straight at slow speeds. The turn-in seems to be fine. I have done something bad to the left rear. Very bad. We're going to take it right back home and figure out what I didn't tighten down. It sounds so bad. Oh, I forgot there's a huge bump right there. No better way to test out the suspension. Why not blow out the shocks immediately? Okay, I quickly assessed the situation in the rear, and it looked like I just didn't tighten the strut down. So I hit both of them with the impact to tighten the top nut on the strut down, and that was probably it. Makes a lot of noise when you don't do that. No more clunky bangy noises. That's good. Let's take it for a little bit of a workout, shall we? It's tracking perfectly straight down the road, but there is a weird ass noise. And it sounds like it might be brake rotors rubbing off some stuff, but I don't really know what that sound is. It sounds weird. All right, around a roundabout with the weird noise happening and a windshield that I can't see out of. It's not pushing. It's also not sliding. It's very wet, very slick out. The water has, you know, kind of lit up the salt that was on the road, and now everything is kind of slick as snot. But we can still take it through the roundabouts in a quick way here. I'm gonna put it in second. I thought I'd leave it in third, but I'm not gonna. I can never. We just don't want to spin the tires so much that we can't get grip, which bad tires. It pushed there, as expected, under throttle. It's a dream. This little car, it always impresses me. It always impresses me. Like, I really like the springs so far, with the stiffer ones in the rear. It's very bouncy though. I can feel it bouncing a lot in the rear. It needs more shock. The springs are right, the shocks, the struts are wrong. I better turn my headlights on. It is raining out, so I don't want to draw any attention from the police, because this plate, she ain't legal. Are any of mine? I have no legal plates right now. None. No, omit that if you are a police officer who's watching the video. From 4th to 2nd. Very good, very good. Very good. It is not, though, pulling one way or the other down the road. Maybe to the left, but that might be due to the curve of the road. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of following the curve of the road. It's very neutral at the moment, I would say. Very, very neutral in the middle as far as alignment, pull on the alignment is concerned. This is a good little road to run down because it's very bumpy, and I can see, you know, just how much the car is going to bounce around. Still have to keep to my side of the road because there could be cars coming, but big smiles right now, big smiles. For an alignment that we put on it at home, you know, OEM style shocks, swapping these spring rates around, the rear's a little bouncy. I wish it had better shocks in the rear, but it still does 7,000 RPM things, right? And if I wanted it to, it would do 8,000, close to anyway. But I feel like 7's plenty for today. And I'm gonna go home, take it, put it away. That's it. That's what we got for you for now. Stay tuned for more action from this car because it's gonna hit an autocross event early this year, I hope, on some stickier tires, and we'll start to dial some more things in. The season's coming. It's coming in hot. You gotta stick around for more FX videos on the Celica. I've got to replace the clutch master cylinder, so that's probably gonna be the next video because I gotta get Dale out of the way, like I've mentioned before, so I can put the MR2 in the shop and we can start a very fast rebuild on that 4AGE and either just do a ring job or do more, depending. But we got to get it out of there and measure and do it, and that's all the stuff that I've got going on. It's plenty. It's enough. What do you got going on? Tell me down in the comments, what are you getting ready for the season? Because I know we are all pushing to do something. Hopefully you're just pushing to do one thing. I got way too many things that I'm pushing in the next 2 months. Whatever you're doing, when the season starts, or maybe before, if you just want to get out and do it, go out and find your own apex. Because it is better late than never. And I will see you next time. I think I'm late for a meeting. Don't want to put that in the video.